growing up, your childhood, I know you were one of eight
Yes.
siblings. Okay.
Second oldest of eight.
Second oldest of eight siblings. Um, what did you want to be when you grow up? Like what did Bill Allen want to do when he got older? I know it wasn't insurance. So what did you want to
do? No, anyone who's in insurance never thought they would be in insurance. You know, probably basketball. That was the one that I played basketball from the time I was in eighth grade. I was always tall and lanky. Mm-hmm. So I played basketball starting in the seventh grade in a parochial Catholic school, playing in the parochial Catholic school athletic system. It was just like on every Saturday, we would get up at 7:00 in the morning and go play basketball at some other Catholic school gym. And that was my introduction to basketball, and playing basketball in school and then on the courts in the hood where I grew up, in the neighborhood. You play outdoors constantly. So I always felt like, and I played high school basketball and other sports. But from a career standpoint, I kind of felt like, well, I wanted to go to college when I got to my senior year in high school, and look at business opportunity. I would have probably gone in and took an academic career in business. That was something that you just kind of think you're going to do. Okay. Until I got the opportunity to get a scholarship to go to Xavier University to play basketball. And so I said, wow. So I go there. It's a good school. They have a good science program. Yes. I like science. I want to be a biology teacher. Okay. Well, when you walk on a campus and you tell a student or your peer dean, they give you somebody to work with you, I want to be a biology teacher. Well, they think you like, oh, you're a scientist. You're going to fit right into this school. But they don't tell you there's no such thing as a biology program to be a teacher. You have to do teaching and biology. It's two separate things. Right. It's not one. So I was just naive about that. Gotcha. I said, well, I'll do something else.
If not biology, I'll go into insurance.
Yeah. Nice. So I was more suited for working with people and understanding the dynamics of people. So I got a degree in sociology, which actually I used, believe it or not, as a sociology major and a political science minor. You have to engage yourself with people and understand how people function, how communities work, how statistics and all of that. So you learn all of that in the sociology environment, and I really liked it. I'm like, God, this is great, So I feel like I can use this. And then when I started volunteering and doing things in the community and helping people, and then when I got the job in the insurance industry, that was, quote, helping people. It was more abstract in that sense. I'm dealing with a product, but I'm making it possible for people when I get an application. And I'm trying to think, if they asked you what your race was. No, you couldn't do that. So you can only guess where people live based on their address, whatever, if you had to. But the main thing was I was helping all people by being able to determine if they were eligible for coverage with the travelers insurance company. But that's kind of my start. But I had no idea I was going to be in insurance. If you ask most people today, they had no idea they get into it.
Right, kind of lucked into it in most cases,
Yeah.
So I'll ask you, I don't know, you might get this question often. Okay, this might be the question of the decade here. LeBron or Jordan?
Oh, Jordan.
I'm gonna go with Jordan too. I'm gonna go with Jordan too, just based on sheer legacy alone.
Yes. Yeah, and what you understand about this young man's work ethic, God, if all of us had just a piece of that,
Yeah.
to me, I think for any young man and young children, like I had two boys, and my oldest had a Michael Jordan poster in his room that was the wingspan. It was
Mhm.
6 feet long of Michael Jordan, and he still has it to this day.
Wow. That's a
And
tremendous item,
it
man.
was just his work ethic that I think if I know I thought he was just phenomenal with that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree, especially for today.
Hmm.
5 years from now, how long
Yeah.
you think LeBron got left? He got a good 5 years, right?
Well, he's in his 30s. Well, he's 35, 36. So he probably has another 2 or 3 years. But I see more in his development as a man
Yeah,
in our community.
I agree.
He's already setting the stage to be more. He's more community aware and active. He's more political
Yes.
than Michael Jordan was more of an example of what an athlete should be, and he led within that arena with his teammates, the teamwork. So his mindset was to me a lot different than LeBron.
Hmm.
LeBron is a man of the millennium,
Yeah.
the millennium, I should say.
Yes.
He's more in tune with what is happening around us, which is great because
Yeah.
we need that more now than I ever thought at this point we would need. And the more LeBrons we have, the more we are able to push forward our place in this society.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I
100%.
see them as two different men, and each have a different ethic.
Yes. I think it's interesting because and I'm gonna bring that back, to the insurance part of the conversation. But it's interesting because you see one, and like you said, hey, this is the example of the prototype for what a dedicated, athlete, really should be, right? That high level of discipline, focus, um, team, the ability to motivate, the team members and support the team members. Then you see someone who is an extremely high caliber athlete as well, like
You're right,
extremely
exactly. I don't take anything
high.
away from LeBron. No,
Right, right.
he has those same qualities.
But the example of a man who is really socially conscious and responsible about his family, respectable, really engaging and wanting to do big things for the community, and a true example of Black excellence from a philanthropic
Yes.
standpoint, right?
That I think that's the evolution of we as
Yes.
Black people and Black men and women. That's that evolution. We've all learned, I think, to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was growing up, there was this old adage about the crabs in the bucket mentality.
Yes.
I think we've moved past some of that, and I think that I'm impressed by the amount of teamwork that I see the expressions of young people now.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds a little bit of the '60s and the '70s,
Yes.
and the foundations have been laid, the groundwork has been broken, and I see the mantle being passed on. It's constant. It's an evolving process for us,
Passion
even
is
in this
high.
industry. It's an evolving process in any industry, in particular the insurance, because it's primarily a white male dominated environment.
Yeah, I wanted to. That's why I wanted to kind of bring that into
Mhm.
the modes of, hey, what things maybe were represented by versus what they're representative of now. We've seen that similar progression in the insurance space as well. And I think, do you feel like it's been a matter of just for the insurance industry? Do you think it's been a matter of just increased character development, exposure, and opportunities that have created this wave? I'm seeing like a wave of more of us, more Black professionals, emerging in the space, particularly at higher level and executive levels now? Do you think that's been a matter of the development? Do you think it's more of a matter of just the social climate that we're in right now? What would you attribute, that to at this stage? Because it's a great time for us to join the industry, without a doubt.
Well, I would like to. A lot of that started before what we can see as a social movement now. I think companies were aware of the opportunities to market to people of color. As people of color, not only African American community, but the Hispanic, the Asian American,
Yes.
Arab, the LGBTQ community are becoming more political and more economically sustainable. They have great influences on the decision making. So long before what you're seeing now was already beginning to happen.
In play.
It was imperative that companies market to these communities that are growing. When you look at the African American community growing, it has grown exponentially in the last 65 years since the Civil Rights Bill. I'm 70 years old.
Wow.
And so when I look at what happened in the past to now, that's a very short period of time. And we've done extremely well as people of color in this country. So businesses you see that they take advantage of it. So yeah, we're seeing more. Now, on the flip side of that is the economic opportunities for the agent, whether you're a life agent or a property and casualty agent. But in the property and casualty field, as an agent wanting to sell insurance to a large commercial business, it's difficult because a lot of those larger institutions, your hotels, your banks, your institutions of higher learning, all those buildings and opportunities are still owned by white people.
Right.
Now, there are Black people inside those institutions, those businesses that can have an impact and a role on whether or not a Black agent can service a commercial business. And that's happening.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's why, our role as becoming a part of this business is important, because that means that an agent who's needing to make a living can now represent these same companies, provide the same service. But what's needed is that opportunity. And so by having us enmeshed in all these various types of industries, whether it's the oil industry, the hotel industry, the entertainment industry, all those industries, people can make decisions on who writes the insurance. And that's the key to the economic development for African American businesses who are taking on the mantle of providing property and casualty insurance, because we don't have any Hiltons or the Marriotts,
right?
Or these big buildings, these names on them, or these industries that are managed and run by and owned by, the Standard Oils, all those things. That's been around for eons.
Yes.
But so there's an evolution of the mindset of businesses and the people inside of those businesses. That's been key. And you want to maintain that. We want to maintain that the people, white people, that are, I guess they use the term woke. Okay. they've been awakening. So yeah. I think for the most part, they're going to be woke going forward.
Yes.
And that's going to be very helpful for us in this industry. And then as young people come up and they begin to create businesses, create contract opportunities to provide services for and build their own entrepreneurial opportunities, it's going to just push our opportunities further. Absolutely. For people of color.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think that's a very well-rounded, perspective, and extremely accurate, especially considering, you were there, in 73, really creating opportunities for the first few Black travelers agents to see where, things have gone now.